Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mystic Journeys with
So guys,
HB, Derek, and Nerdy. How are you, boys?
pretty good, pretty
Very
good.
well, thank you. How you doing?
Good, good, good. Doing well. It's a beautiful afternoon. We actually finally got some warm weather where I am. So,
Nice. Yeah, it's been hot here today too.
as you can see, I'm dressed no different. Thank you guys for being here. It's our Five Agreement Friday. We're going to pick up right where we left off. And we're going to have a little bit of fun today. We got a mushroom guest with Nerdy. And we're also going to talk a little bit of mycology and cloning stuff as well. And if we have time, we'll read from a couple Zen.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. So far, so good.
Very
I read
good.
that one a lot.
Very good. We'll see how it goes, man. I like it a lot too. I feel like it's nice little exercises to practice, right? Because you can read philosophy all day long, but if you practice an exercise that's attached to it, helps you carry it through your day. It makes it way more
Absolutely.
effective. Yeah. So cheers, everyone. Thank you for being here. We shall get into it in just a minute here. I believe Nerdy had a little bit of an announcement you wanted to talk about.
Announcement. Announcement.
Well, not an announcement really per se, but just some news. Didn't you say you were going to mention it on the show?
Oh yeah. Well, it's just another one of those like strange Karios moments, that I keep having. Um,
Right.
like I think it was like a month or two ago when I realized that Ed Lubo was like a big deal in the mycology community, and he's a dude. I met him like 20 some years ago, like 22 years ago, or maybe a little more. And it turns out he was the president of the Colorado Mycological Society twice before I even met him. And I had no idea. I didn't know his last name or anything. So I went along with my life after I like 20 years ago, and I was like, oh, okay. I see these books and stuff, and like my foraging books and things like that. And I see this name Ed Lubo, and I'm like, I have no idea who he is. But it was the dude I used to work with. He was a security guard at the dorms when I was going to college. Blew my mind. Anyway, last summer I was at a random ass Colorado Mycological Society foray, and this guy who's leading the foray, I didn't know who he was. Just a random guy. His name was James. I was like, okay. I learned a lot from him at this foray. It was in the random middle of Denver City Park, and I was like, how many mushrooms are we gonna find in the middle of the city? But that's his expertise. He's all about the urban mushrooms, and he was telling me
Wow.
things that I didn't know about. And there's another expert, another James, down in the Springs, where he considers himself the agaricus expert of Colorado. And I'm telling him, like, yeah, I found Agaricus bernardii last summer with this guy, James, at this park. And he's like, no, man, I don't believe you. That mushroom doesn't exist in Colorado. I'm like, no, man, I'm telling you, I had it in my basket last summer. And I'm like, okay, man, challenge accepted. I will find this mushroom again. Long story short, I did find it again. I haven't sent it in for DNA sequencing again yet, but I ran into James again, this guy that was leading the foray last summer. He was at a class that I was helping teach a couple weeks, like 3 weeks ago, I think. I was the co-teacher, and I was like, "Oh yeah, hey, I remember you. You're doing the foray and stuff." And he doesn't know who I am. I don't really know who he is, and I like it like that because you don't really put people on a pedestal. These famous people who are people who I appreciate. I don't really know their names, but I know what they do.
Mhm.
Anyway, I was teaching the class yesterday because my friend couldn't show up, and I was filling in for him. So it was just me. I created the curriculum for the day yesterday. And this guy, James, he's sitting there and he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. And I'm talking about the radical mycology book. And I had some handouts and some printouts from the radical mycology book. And I was like, yeah, if I was creating a curriculum for like a 6-week course, it would be coming from this book. And he is like, you know what? Here, just open up the front cover right there. And I open up the cover, and he points, and his name is right there. James Weisner is in the acknowledgments page. So Peter McCoy says, I thank James Weiser for sharing a wealth of information and insight into the cultivation process over the years. I
Wow.
think I'm like, what? So this guy is in my class. I'm teaching my way of cultivating. He's like, wow, this is really cool stuff. I like that you use the term home mycology and things like that. He's like, yeah, I'm doing similar stuff. So then I did a search and find on my PDF of radical mycology for his name. Turns out his name was mentioned
Right.
4 times. And the times when it mentions his name, I'm like, wow. Peter McCoy knew James 15 years ago, and he was teaching Peter McCoy stuff that I was like, this is really, really cool. He was showing me some stuff yesterday that I didn't know that he was doing, and I'm like, this guy is really, really cool. And he said, yeah, I'm doing a foray next Wednesday, and the last one he did was 2 weekends ago on Memorial Day. I didn't get in because it filled in. There's only so many slots to get into a foray with the Colorado Mycological Society. And as soon as they announce it, it fills up like within an hour or two. So the one that was like around Memorial Day, I didn't get in, but I told him I was going to be there, but I couldn't get in. So yesterday he's telling me next Wednesday I'm doing another one, but it filled up within the first 15 minutes of them announcing it. And he was like, tell you what, you're going to be my foray assistant. So just show up. You're going to email me. You already got my email. So just reach out to me. You're my foray assistant. And this guy is actually a hoot. He's a real funny guy. He lives close to me. We forage in some of the similar areas, and I can't wait to get to know him better because he has a lot of cool ideas. Very, very mad scientist, kind of like me.
Love it, dude.
But yeah, James Weiser.
Okay,
Cool
I'll keep that name in mind if I can. I'm horrible with names, but yeah, usually when I meet somebody, I'll be way better at remembering who they are.
It takes me a few times too, meeting someone new, and then, and it's not a lack of respect. It's just, so much going on, and it's,
Yeah, sometimes I'm too focused on even telling them my name that I forget it. Like, tell them your name, tell them your name, tell them your name, and then telling me their name while I'm saying that in my head. I'm like, what was your name again?
Like instantaneously. It happens to me at events. Because like I'm meeting 30 people at the same time that I've never met before, and I'm supposed to remember their name for the next month. And I'm like, I get nightmares. I think I told you this before, HB, that I get nightmares because I forget people's names so often, and it just destroys me because I want to remember people's names. I'm like, I want you to know that I remember you. I just didn't remember. I can't remember names.
Is that a phobia like of nightmares that people normally have, or is that like a special case thing?
I think it's a social anxiety thing, probably.
Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, it's a major struggle, and I'm realizing sometimes it takes about 3 times.
Interesting.
So, like a good example is, I know I've met her more than 3 times, but Proppy Bob, aka Robert, his wife.
Cheers, you guys are watching.
I'm forgetting his wife's name. His wife's name is Carrie.
Really great
people.
I
remember you. It's just I just struggle remembering people's names, and I always get like, hey, it's a C name. So what was it again? It was Carol? No, it's Carrie.
All right.
I hope he's watching. I hope they're watching. Because I know they do watch the show. They did a lot.
Cheers, you guys. Y'all are good people. Shout out. If you guys need anything, reach out to us.
Yeah, they are good people, and I love having them around.
That's funny, Nerdy. Recently at church, one of my I consider him a friend. When I first started going, I met him, and it was like after like probably 3 times. He had told me his name, and I told him mine, and then he forgot my name. And then one day we're talking, he's like, "What's your name again?" And I was like, "Christian." And he's like, "That's my name." I was like, "I know. I'm just playing with you."
That's a slick move. That's a Derek kind of move too.
That's a good move.
It's a good move.
That's an easy name to remember at church. You know what I mean? So I had him at a unfair disadvantage. But
100%.
Like he totally started freaking. I was like, no. My name's Derek.
That's awesome, though. I love that.
Nice. Can you guys refresh my memory on where we left off last week?
Yes, sir.
Please, sir. We are in the 5th agreement, you guys. We've moved on from the 4, now we're in the 5, and we're getting on into it now. What's the rather beginning of the book?
Well, 57, I suppose.
That sounds
7.
Yeah, 57. It's right. I stopped right at the beginning of the 5th agreement. That would be like the jump off place.
Yeah, so if you guys are reading along, we are at chapter 5, Truth or Fiction, the 3rd agreement, don't make assumptions. Beautiful. I love this agreement. You know, I've mentioned this several times on the show. To me, the concept of the agreements, it like ties together like a perfect package, right? And in the package, you start with your foundation. You have the box. You be impeccable with your word. Then you have the wrapping. Start to wrap it up a little bit. Put some decoration on it. You maybe stuff it with paper or whatever. You know, it's your next agreement. Don't take things personally. And as you make it look nicer and nicer, you get down the agreements and you finally put the bow on it with, you know, always do your best. So let's see if we have a stopping point nearby. Looks like I'm going to have to make one. We'll just see how this goes.
Maybe 67.
Okay.
Well, that's 10 pages, but
Mark that. And then, yeah, we'll see. Cool. Yep. Seems like to be a good place. All right, guys. Appreciate you for being. Let's get to the reading. For centuries, even millennia, humans have believed that a conflict exists even in the human mind. A conflict between good and evil. But this isn't true. Good and evil are just the result of the conflict, because real conflict between the truth and the lies. Real conflict is between the truth and the lies. Perhaps we should say that all conflict is the result of lies, because the truth also has no conflict at all. The truth does not need to prove itself. It exists whether we believe it or not. Lies only exist if we create them, and they only survive if we believe in them. Lies are just a distortion of the world, or of the word, rather. A distortion of the meaning of a message, and a distortion is in the reflection, the human mind. Lies aren't real. They're our creation. But if we give them life and make them real in the virtual reality of our mind, or but we give them, not if we give them. When I was a teenager, my grandfather told me the simple truth, but it took years for me to really understand it because I was always thinking, how can we know the truth? I was using symbols to try to understand the truth, when the real truth is that the symbols have nothing to say about the truth. The truth existed long before humans created symbols. As artists, we're always distorting the truth with symbols, but that's not the problem. As we said before, the problem is when we believe that distortion. My goodness, sorry guys. Because some lies are innocent and others are deadly, let's consider how and we can use the word to create a story, a superstition about a chair. What do we know about a chair? We can say that a chair is made of wood or metal or cloth, but we're just using symbols to express a point of view. The truth is that we don't really know what the object is, but we can use the word with all of our authority to deliver a message to ourselves and to everyone around us. This chair is ugly. I hate this chair. This message is already distorted, but this is just the beginning. We can say it's a stupid chair, and I think that whoever sits in this chair might become stupid also. I think we have to destroy the chair because if someone sits in the chair, and if it falls apart, that person will fall and break a hip. Oh yes, the chair is evil. Let's create a law against the chair so that everybody knows that it's a danger to society. From now on, it's prohibited to get even near the chair. If we deliver this message, then whoever receives the message and agrees with the message starts to become afraid of the evil chair. And very soon, there are people who are so afraid of the chair that they start having some nightmares about it. They become obsessed with the evil of the chair. How ironic we were just talking about this. It's very weird. The universe does this a lot with our readings. I'm resonating with this a lot. It's nice. Of course they have. Sorry, let me restart from that sentence there. Very soon, there are people who are so afraid of the chair that they start having nightmares about it. They become obsessed with the evil chair. And of course, they have to destroy the chair before it destroys them. Do you see what we can do with the word? The chair is just an object. It exists, and that's the truth. But the story that we create about a chair, it's not the truth. It's just a superstition. It's a distorted message, and a message that is the lie. And if we don't believe the lie, no problem. If we believe the lie and we try to impose that lie on other people, it can lead to what we call evil. Of course, what we call evil, it has many levels depending on our personal power. And some people can lead the whole world into a great war where millions of people die. There are tyrants all around us and all around the world who invade other countries and destroy their people because the tyrants believe in lies. Now we can easily understand why there is a conflict in the human mind, and only the human mind, the virtual reality, because it doesn't exist in the rest of nature. There are billions of humans who distort all the symbols in their heads and deliver distorted messages. And that's what really happened to humanity. I think that answers why all of the wars exist and why all the injustice and abuse exists and why the dream that we call hell exists in the world of humans. Hell is nothing but a dream full of lies. Remember, our dream is controlled by what we believe, and what we believe could be the truth or it could be fiction. The truth leads us to our authenticity and to happiness. Lies lead to limitations in our lives and to suffering and drama. Whoever believes the truth lies in heaven, and whoever believes lies sooner than later lives in hell. And we don't have to die or go to heaven or hell. We don't have to die to go to heaven or hell. Heaven is all around us, just as hell is around us. Heaven is a point of view, a state of mind, and so is hell. It's obvious that lies have been ruining every show in our head. Humans create the lies, and the lies control the humans. But sooner or later, the truth arrives, and the lies cannot survive the presence of the truth. Lord, the truth shall set you free. Centuries ago, people believed that the earth was flat, and some said the elements were supporting the earth. Yes, supporting the earth. And that made them feel safe. Good. Now we know that the earth is flat. Well, now we know that the earth isn't flat. The belief that the earth was flat was considered the truth, and almost everybody agreed. But did that make it true? No. One of the biggest lies we hear in the present time is nobody's perfect. It's a great excuse for our behavior, and almost everybody agrees. But is it true? On the contrary, every human in the world is perfect. But we've been hearing this lie ever since we were children. And as a consequence, we keep judging ourselves against an image of perfection. We keep searching for perfection, and in our search, we found that everything in the universe is perfect, as a perfect example of the humans. The sun is perfect, the stars are perfect, the planets are perfect. But when it comes to humans, nobody's perfect. The truth is that everything in creation is perfect, including humans. And if we don't have the awareness to see the truth, it's because we're blinded by the lie. And you may say, what about somebody who's physically disabled? Is that a perfect person? Well, according to what you know, that person may be imperfect. But is what you know the truth? It's a quote we often say here. Maybe you're wrong. It's a great quote. Who says that what we call a disability or even a disease isn't perfect? Everything about us is perfect, including any disability or disease that we might have. And someone with a learning disability is perfect. Someone born with a finger on an arm or born without a finger or an arm or an ear is perfect. And someone with a disease is perfect. Only perfection exists. And that awareness is another important step in our evolution. As Ram Dass says, everything is perfect. To say otherwise is not to have the awareness of what we are. And it's not enough to say that we are perfect. We need to believe that we're perfect. And if we believe ourselves to be imperfect, that lie gathers more lies for support. And together those lies repress the truth and guide the dream that we're creating for ourselves. Lies are nothing but superstitions. And I can assure you that we live in a world of superstition. But again, are we aware of it? Just imagine waking up tomorrow morning in the 14th century Europe, knowing what you presently know. Believing what you believe today. Imagine what those people would think of you and how they would judge you. How would they put you on trial for taking a bath every day? They would put you on trial for taking a bath every day. And everything you believe would threaten what they believe. How long would it take before they accused you of being a witch? They would torture you, make you confess to being a witch, and finally kill you because of their fear of your beliefs. You can easily see that those people lived their lives immersed in superstition. Hardly anything they believed was true. And you can see easily that because of what you can easily see that because of what you believe today. But those people were not aware of their superstitions. Their way of life was completely normal for them, and they didn't know any better because they never learned anything else, then perhaps what do you believe about yourself is just full of superstitions as beliefs of those people long ago. Just imagine if humans were 7 or 8 centuries in the future could see what most of us believe about ourselves today. The way that most of us relate to our own bodies is still barbarian, though not as much as several hundred years ago. Our body is completely loyal to us, but we judge our body and abuse our body, and we treat it as if it's the enemy when it's our ally. Our social places, our society places a lot of importance on being attractive according to the images we see on the media, on television, and the movies and fashion magazines. But if we believe that we're not attractive enough according to these images, then we believe a lie, and we're using the word against ourselves, against the truth. And that's part of being impeccable. The people in control of the media tell us what to believe and how to dress and what to eat, and they manipulate humans like puppets, which means in whatever way they want. And if they want us to hate someone, they spread gossip all around, and the lies work their magic. And when we stop being puppets, it's obvious that our lives have been guided by lies and superstitions. Imagine what future humans would think of our superstitions. If they believed in the perfection of everything in creation, including every human, would we crucify them for their beliefs? What is the truth and what is a lie? Once again, awareness is so important. Nerdy talks about agreement zero, awareness. Once again, awareness is so important because the truth doesn't come with words, with knowledge, but lies do. There are billions of lies. Humans believe so many lies because we aren't aware. We ignore the truth, or we just don't see the truth. When we are domesticated, we accumulate a lot of knowledge, and all the knowledge is just like a wall of fog that doesn't allow us to perceive the truth of what really is. We only see what we want to see, and we only hear what we want to hear. And our belief system is just like that, a mirror that shows us only what we want to believe. We talked about this with the smoky mirror, right? This concept. In our development, as we go throughout our lives, we learn so many lies that the whole structure of our lives become very complicated. And we make it even more complicated because we think and we believe in what we think. We make assumptions about what we believe is the truth, and we never stop to consider that our truth is a relative truth, a virtual truth. It's only true to us. Usually, it's not even close to any kind of truth, but it's the closest we can get without awareness. We're going to stop right there on page 67 for you guys.
While you were reading that, the thing that keeps coming to my mind is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You believe what you want to believe. So if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's a witch. She's a witch. She's a witch. Yeah. But yeah, that thought just kept coming in my head while you were reading that over and over again.
Yeah, it's very good stuff, man.
We haven't
go,
evolved
Jared?
very much. You have any thoughts on that, Derek?
Oh yeah. Sorry, my phone kind of.
Apologies needed.
Okay, buddy.
But yeah, that was a lot to unpack, wasn't it? I mean, first it's talking
A lot
about
to
the
unpack.
reality again. Kind of like last week when we were talking about going to the theater and seeing other people's versions of us that don't match what we think. And then I love that because it's you can't have like a closed mind and think just one way. You have to uh, not necessarily self-aware, but be aware of what others may see as well, because you might like that chair, you might love that chair, and then someone else comes in and they trash it, and then you're going to take it personally. You know what I mean? Don't do that. If it's don't let them, like you say, that envy, steal your joy. Just because you like it, it's for you. Just like in for people that heaven and hell, well, you might be in hell if you're with the wrong people. You gotta be with your people. And that's where you'll find happiness. And I think if you ask someone with a disability, like say someone with Down syndrome, you ask them, would you wish you were never born? I'm sure they would say, I'm happy I was born. And me and anger and probably a lot of other people that are, pretty healthy would sit there and think like, this is too hard. I wish I was never born. But it's just a moment, that's in a difficult situation, but it passes, you know. So I think we all have different realities and they're all different like all the time. So I think also, the big thing is to embrace change.
I couldn't agree more.
There, but
Agree more, dude. Yeah, it's funny because there's a saying, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, don't yum somebody's yum.
yeah.
You heard that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, don't hate on something that somebody likes and something that somebody enjoys.
Yeah.
You're right, though, man. There is just so much here to unpack. I don't even know where to start, really. Says the truth leads us to our authenticity and to happiness, and lies lead us to limitations in our lives and to suffering and drama. Whoever believes the truth and lies is in heaven. Whoever believes the lies sooner or later lives in hell. So much to unpack here. I have so many great points. Ram Dass talks about the idea of everything is perfect, the world around us. It's really our view that needs to change. And whenever somebody has a convoluted, pessimistic outlook on the world, like how could you say that whenever there's war and there's suffering and starvation and corruption? It's because it's the lens that we choose to focus on, right? When we magnify those things, they become everything that's in our scope of view, and we start to be not only choose to look at it, but we become possessed by it. Because the more we choose to look at it, the more it's like a drug, or we have to look at it. It's harder to look away. Kind of the Medusa effect, right? That turns us into stone along the way. And we talked about this quote. I forget who it's from. Pardon me for forgetting, but my reality is only true to me. Your reality is only true to you. And the only certainty is that those two realities are different. The only quote unquote reality is what exists behind our eyes, behind each of our minds. And then one more little point I want to make here is that nobody's perfect. I think that he said it so perfect in this book. So many people use this as an excuse, and they can try to fancy it up any way that they want to make it more swallowable for them to look at themselves in the mirror. But it's an excuse whenever you use that. Well, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I'm even guilty of catching myself say this every once in a while. I'm sure there's several times you can pick me on the show saying this, but it's an out because everything is perfect. But it's because of the programming that we've been programmed with ever since we were young about the saying that, nobody's perfect. It allows us to fuck up and get away with it, and it's not really the way to be. You should be able to be like, everybody is perfect. And the way you're perfect is by taking these mistakes and really truly learning from them, using them as unconditional gratitude, whether it's a mistake or whether it's something great that happens to you, right? I'm not going to go on. That's a juicy part of the book. I think so far this is like the most action-packed and about whatever 6 pages that we just read. So much we could talk about there and unpack. Derek makes a great point. He covered a lot of what I wanted to say.
Yep.
I like that. Don't yuck someone else's yum though. I mean, like, I might be in the mood for ham and pineapple pizza, right? And you might want to fight me over it because you wanted pepperoni.
It's ridiculous. As if somebody's force feeding them to eat the pizza. It's like you guys got to stay in your lane and let people just be. As long as they're not harming anyone, you just got to let them just be. That's one of my favorite things. Like, mind your own fucking business. Yeah. Sometimes it's the best way to be, for real. Because if you're so focused on other people's lives and what they got going on and what they're doing, you can't better yourself as much as you can. It takes too much energy, right? And there are sometimes like we have to do that for our friends, right? We don't have to, but we choose to, right? It's like, a little bit of our energy away. But we have to keep some of that for ourselves. You got a comment here? Oh, you're just agreeing with what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, sweet. Yeah. But yeah, as I talk about, it's like a social energy battery, right? And how much you give away to people and their drama and their lies. It sucks away from your battery. Even it doesn't even involve you. Even if it's just like some Jerry Springer stuff on your TV or whatever's going on in the news media with whoever broke up with who in Hollywood or, whatever's going on. Media manipulation. They said it in the book. 100%. It's media manipulation. And sometimes, like I said, it's like, who's to blame here? Is it like the media? It's like, yeah, could be. right? There are definitely people behind it that are curating this and making it where it's negative, but we're the ones buying it. You know,
Yeah, we
we're
have
the
a
ones
choice
buying the
now.
lies.
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have that choice to create that heaven or hell here on earth.
I think a lot of that negative energy though is like a magnet. And even if it's like you're thinking of someone else and like, you're hitting on their yum, but that
Hmm.
negative energy, it's starting to flow through you and you're gonna
Yes, sir.
attract it, be that magnet. So I
Yeah,
mean, you might not agree with someone else, but to have negativity towards that person, don't be surprised if that negativity follows you into things that you're doing.
yes, sir. Definitely. The analogy I use is Velcro, but yeah, magnet and Velcro. It's all kind of
Mm,
silly putty, whatever you're doing. You're walking around, you're picking that stuff up like lint.
mhm. Cat
Yeah.
hair.
It can be very negative. Yeah, definitely, brother. Um, if you don't mind, let's switch modes here. I know we're stealing really hard left, but I think this is a good time to do a little segment that I have here called "Nerdy Guess That Mushroom." That's a thing we've been doing. So let's see if
Oh, oh, my
oh oh this is crazy, isn't it, dude? What is this? Have you ever seen anything like this? I can replay that video if you'd like, but I have another one. Let's play this next one real
I,
fast.
ooh,
You can see here, yeah, they're going to blow on this mushroom, and then it's going to activate the spores that come out of it.
right.
Well, I guess I'll say what's presumably a mushroom. I don't want to give anything away.
I know one of its close relatives is called the orange peel fungus.
Okay. It does look like that now that you
Let me
mention
let me
that.
look that up. So it's not it.
I have the scientific name or I
I'm
have the
guessing it's the
street name, whatever.
genus Alluria.
No.
No. Hmm.
No. I can give you a hint if you'd like.
Yes, please.
It's the genus starts with a C. If you'd like, I can also give you some taxonomy things about it, its appearance or whatnot.
Let me
Obviously, you see it
my personal
dark fuzzy.
any mushrooms that start with a C that I think might be
Okay.
that.
A dark brown, fuzzy, cigar-like shape, 3 to 4 inches long, that splits into 4 to 7 leathery arrays, kind of like a banana, like you guys are seeing here, revealing a white to brown interior. And when it matures, it splits open, injecting spores with a distinct hissing sound, as you guys were hearing in this video right here. Invisible smoke cloud that processes in a process that's powered by pressurized stacks called ASCII. I don't know how to pronounce it. ASCI. ASCII.
I did find it.
Okay.
It's called Corioactis.
Correct, sir. Yeah.
And I believe it's found in Texas.
Okay. I'm not sure where specifically, but it is commonly, it says here, it's a genus of fungi containing the single species
I'm fairly certain
Chiractis giester, and it's commonly known as the Texas star or devil cigar.
the Texas star, I'm pretty sure, is the state fungus of Texas.
Of Texas. That's pretty neat. I didn't search it that way, but
I
cool.
believe that it is their state fungus. Let me look that up.
If you don't mind. And I'll carry on with the things here. Its habitat is found exclusively on dead roots and stumps of cedar elms in Texas and oaks in Japan. There we go. I guess that answers our question right there.
Yeah, and I think it only appears in Japan and Texas.
Nice. What a weird world, dude. What a weird world of fungi we live in.
Here's what it's saying from my Google search. It says, yes, the Texas star, scientifically known as Corioactis gaster,
yes,
is the official state mushroom of Texas.
Yep, it says here extremely rare, with populations in Texas and Japan separated by millions of years of evolution. That's insane. I mean, how did it get over here? maybe the landmass is being connected in Pangea or something. It's insane,
Spores
dude.
are floating around in our atmosphere,
It's a good point. Birds and
and they
stuff. Who knows,
get
right?
way up there.
2 swallows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
an African swallow or a European swallow?
well, it's got to be from Texas or Japan.
Did you see this picture earlier, Nerdy? On IG?
Oh no,
Uh,
no. Who
Yep,
posted
and
that?
also have it right here. It says it was designated as a state mushroom of Texas in 2021. Yep, 100% nerdy. It's pretty cool, dude. Texas Star.
Who posted this one, Derek?
Let me see. Sharon Murdoch. So I
Sharon.
believe it's in PNW.
Let me check inside the T Crew chat. I think that's where it is, right?
I believe in the PNW. Yeah, it's in the T Crew chat. To me, it looks like reishi, because the turkey tail I have is darker, but I know turkey tail does get.
That's probably not turkey tail. There's a couple that trick me every once in a while, but like the real indicator is looking at the gills. The four underside. What color is it? How big are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's reishi, but I could be way off. Because, like I said, I have a ton of turkey tail around here and false turkey. You know, like you're saying, either it's got gills or it's smooth. You know, if it's milky or if it's smooth. If it's smooth, then it's false turkey. But if I see the little gills and it's a little milky colored, then it's real turkey.
Gills?
The little pores. I'm sorry, not gills. I'm sorry, pores. Because the false turkey's smooth underneath. There's no pores, not gills.
Oh, that's a pretty moth that Sharon. Oh, Shroom Digger posted that picture of that moth. Okay, nice.
Very cool.
Okay, now I'm
Yeah, I was just saying today,
Sharon
the rosy maple moth is my favorite.
So these are down in Texas. So let me see. Look, I'm scrolling up still. I don't think I found the original post yet.
So look, guys, they're so freaking
there we
cute.
go. There we go.
Look at this little guy. It almost doesn't even look real.
Mm.
Those are interesting.
He's like, yo, what's up? It's the cutest little thing. I mean, look at that little face.
Hey. Yeah, definitely. Solid like wood. Yep. They seem really, really dried out, like they're from last year or something. My best guess is that it's in the Fomitopsis family. It looks like a Fomitopsis to me, so it could be like a
little bonus round of nerdy. Guess that mushroom.
Right, like a bonus round here. All right.
I have a little clip here, and I have a reading. I don't know which to do first. Maybe I'll play the video first.
Like, I don't think it's Officinalis. I don't think it's a Garicon, but it looks flat enough. I don't know. That's a really interesting looking bracket. I'm having a hard time with this one, Sharon.
Maybe you can come back to us with it.
Yeah,
episode.
I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna look at this video that you shared, Sharon, and I'm gonna try to give you a good look at this, and I'm gonna really, really try to give you a good answer.
Very cool. Please enjoy your Zeta. It just got sent out today.
It's definitely too big to be turkey tail. Turkey tail does not grow that big that I've ever seen.
Small.
Yeah, much smaller.
Unless that's a 2x4. Unless that's a 2x4, it's hard to tell what size that piece of board is they're sitting on.
I can see her hand. She posted the video.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, it's about this big. The shelves.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'll have to go back to that one. My instincts is Fomitopsis, but it could be Trametes. But my guess is just because it looks so woody and so big and hard, I'm guessing Fomitopsis. But interesting. I like it. Looks cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to play this clip, and I just wanted to do this real fast because I made a video yesterday where I touched on this for a good little while. You guys want to go back and
Ganoderma.
watch it? It is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month for the month of June. Something that I'll always love to speak about. To try to bring the brotherhood of men and men's mental health. I have a quick little video, and we'll talk just briefly about it here.
Men aren't seen as having problems, but as being the problem. Suicide rates among men under 30 have risen by 40% since 2010 and are 4 times higher than among young women. Male suicide accounts for as many deaths as breast cancer. Men are less likely than women to go to college or buy a home. They are more likely to be lonely and are more vulnerable to addiction. Young white men from lower income homes are worse off than their fathers on almost every economic and social indicator. There is a bigger gender gap on campuses today than in 1972 when the government passed Title IX to prevent sex-based discrimination in education, but today the disparities in college enrollment and performance are the other way round. There is no strong evidence that young men are turning against gender equality, but they have turned away from the left because the left has turned away from them. The problems of young men are not the confections of reactionaries. This is the story of elite neglect, not voter chauvinism. At worst, men are seen as not having problems, but as being the problem.
And it's a really interesting thought. I love to talk about this because I'm a big breast cancer awareness advocate. If you know me, I always wear breast cancer awareness ribbons on my bag, and it's important to talk about people and their problems, whether they're male or whether they're female. And I think it's also specific to highlight women for their needs and men for their needs individually as well. So there's a lot of things that people can learn from Men's Mental Health Month that can benefit everyone regardless of your gender. So it's also a great time of year if you're married to someone or if you're dating someone, if you're a female, to reach out to your brothers or your husbands or your boyfriends and just check in with them. Make sure that, because it's hard sometimes for men to try to open up and really express their feelings because of societal stigma. So it's really important to make sure that you give people the place to be able to talk about their problems. And when you initiate the conversation, it kind of starts everything. And then as far as the men, reach out to your boys and make sure that if you're doing okay, that the people next to you are doing all right, especially during this time of year. Just give somebody a quick, what's up, how are you doing? Just check in with people.
I would like to go back to that mushroom first for a split second.
Yes, sir.
I can't get it out of my
Do
head.
you have it pulled up?
Well, Sanam did say Ganoderma megaloma. That does make sense. Maybe. I do think she's on the right track with Ganoderma. I don't think there's a high chance that it's not megaloma. It would help to know what tree she found it growing on, like what specific species of tree. That will help narrow down the type of tree. But take your time, Sharon. Just whenever you can, let me know what kind of tree it was growing on. I think that'll help.
I think I read a redwood. If I remember in the comments.
Let me go back. But sorry to disrupt. Let me go back. Redwood.
Cool. Let me read this Cup of Zen if you don't mind. Last week we started this book of 21 stories, Zen stories, called Cup of Zen, and we read the first story. It was called The Traveler's Wait, I believe. Yep, The Traveler's Wait. Today we're going to read The Empty Cup. It's a little short story here, and it comes with a little exercise for us to do. A traveling scholar arrived at a tea house, seeking shelter from the storm. Rain lashed against the paper windows. Inside was all still. An old tea master knelt behind the counter, setting out 2 teacups. The scholar lowered his dripping hood, shaking water from his sleeves. He placed a bundle of scrolls on the table, smoothing them with careful hands, and his fingertips tapped anxiously. I have read the sutras, he said, debated with monks, memorized countless verses, he exhaled, and yet something is missing. The tea master nodded, lifting the kettle. He poured into the scholar's cup. The scholar leaned forward. Tell me what's the essence of Zen? The tea master poured until the scholar's cup was full. Then he kept pouring. The tea spilled over the rim. streaming across the table, soaking the scholar's scrolls. He leapt up. What are you doing? The tea master set down the kettle. The only sound was the rain. Scholar sat back down, gripping the edges of his robe. The scrolls were soaking as the tea continued to trickle off the table and onto the floor. He drank slowly. Eventually, the cup was empty, and outside, the storm raged, and inside, a single drop fell. Reflection. Where in your life are you still pouring? Knowledge, worry, plans. Some cups are already full. What would happen if you stopped? Can you see the spill before it overflows? What quiet overflow have you been ignoring? A moment of Zen. Here's the exercise for you guys. Take a cup and pour water into the cup and watch it until it spills. Hold your breath, release it. Which moment was full and which moment was empty? Stand in the rain, close your eyes, and when you do, separate drops. Stand in the rain and close your eyes, and when do separate drops become whole? It's a very good mental exercise. Because it visualizes what we're talking about here in this reading. It's so great because so often we do that. We're the people filling our cup to make it spill on our own things. We're filling that cup with worry and negativity. We were just talking about this, how ironic. We fill it up with negative media and negative people in our lives and negative things, and we build it, and it's that magnet or that Velcro we were talking about. And as that cup builds, it builds and builds and builds. It spills over. And we're like, what's happening here? Yeah, meanwhile, we're the ones doing it to ourselves. We get so out of tune and so out of focus, but we're the ones doing it to ourselves. That's why it's one of my favorite quotes. It's like, no one can help you change but yourself. You have to do it. Yeah, people can inspire you. Yeah, people can, give you tips and tools and tricks along the way, be there for you. But you got to ultimately make that decision yourself.
Yeah, I think like if you're going to go hiking and you have your pack and you're going to put your food in there, you're not going to throw in a rotten apple or a rotten orange and then put your other food in there, because that one thing is going to spoil the rest of it. And just like, like you're saying, the content stuff that we watch, that we consume, it can damage all these other things. So it's you got to be mindful of what you're watching. Make sure
People we hang around.
Yeah,
The music we listen to, the hobbies we enjoy, everything we put in our lives, in our bodies, near us. We have to be cautious of it, very mindful of it.
Mhm.
It's the mental gym, right? Say again, I cut you out.
That one bad apple.
Yeah,
That goes
100%.
things.
100%. Yeah, it's the opposite of the candle effect we talked about, how one candle can light up the room as it spreads. One bad person, bad vibe can ruin the whole batch.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think Sanam earlier was talking about being able to pick up other people's negative energy, and that's like one of those empath things. And that's I think that's a great thing. But if you surround yourself with positive people, then you'll be picking up the positive energy. But if you're around
Yes, sir.
that are not doing so great, you're gonna get that negative energy.
You got to be the change you want to see. He agrees. He said, "Get it, dude." Cheers, everyone. We just got a couple minutes here. We're going to talk a little bit about cloning to wrap up the show. But as we start to wrap up, if you guys have any questions or anything, we need anything, reach out to us, mysticjourneychurch.org. Everything links in the bio here on YouTube. So appreciate you guys. Nerdy. We had a question from Mello. I'm not sure if she's here in the chat. Let me scroll through real fast.
I haven't seen it today.
Okay. Maybe we'll just save that then. Do you want to save that?
Well, I don't know.
Her question was, we can answer, I guess, briefly, but we'll save this whenever she's here because she was really wanting to learn about this and know about this. Question was about taking a section or a little piece of dried mushroom and essentially purifying it to make it ready for agar. Is this possible? Can you regenerate mushroom from a dried mushroom to make more? And how do you do it? Just give us a quick run through.
That's something I covered yesterday in my class.
Yeah, funny enough, I still have your pamphlet here from
Well, one of the
Meet
things
up.
we did in our class yesterday is we bought lion's mane from the store, and we had some moldy, gross, nasty lion's mane from the store. And we opened it up, and I was like, "All right, we're gonna take a transfer from the inside, and we're gonna drop it inside of a little container of 3%." My brain's not working all of a sudden. 3%
Hydrogen peroxide,
hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. And that will kill all the
HBO2.
spores and any of the other bad stuff. And then you transfer it to your agar cup. So I've got a couple agar cups over here that if it's dry, if it's fresh, it's basically the same thing. As soon as the hydrogen peroxide breaks down, it turns into water. So it goes from H2O2 to H2O.
Maybe
so
we can make a quick video on how to do this.
it's like you're rehydrating the dry mushroom, and you're killing all the competition for it. I've brought mushrooms back from the dead many, many times.
Cool. What's the
And
oldest?
oldest one I've brought back? I don't know how old they were because they were given to me.
So 6 months plus at least, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
And it's better to start from like the inside of like the stipe of a dried mushroom, because that's essentially is going to be the most sterile part. And
Use sterilized equipment.
yeah, sterilize everything. What am I getting at with this? Oh yeah, so dry or wet is basically the same process. You just want to use 3% hydrogen peroxide. It'll say 3% on the bottle. You don't need to dilute it. It's probably already going to be 3% from the store.
Then you just rinse it with purified water afterwards.
You can. I don't, because the hydrogen peroxide breaks down into water on its own.
Okay. Nice. Sweet. Good idea. Yes, sir. Cool.
But yeah, just let it soak in the hydrogen peroxide for 30 to 60 seconds. That's all you need. It's going to bubble a lot.
Cool. Like it.
That's right.
70% alcohol.
Hydrogen
No, not 70% alcohol.
Not 70% alcohol. Hydrogen peroxide. Let's use my stuff from yesterday.
I used to use only peroxide to sterilize my mushroom equipment.
Yep.
Now I use 70% alcohol.
The more isn't better with alcohol. The higher, the 90 or 93, you don't use that technology. You use 70. That's crazy. I think it would be better, but it's not. You have the drying.
Can you explain why?
No, I can't.
Do not use this. This will kill your mushroom culture. This will kill the molds and spores, but not kill your mushroom culture. So 3% hydrogen peroxide. Let's see where it says 3% on here.
70% alcohol to sterilize, correct? Yes,
right
ma'am.
there on the ingredients. Let's look for 3%.
So
yes,
Nerdy, why do we
got
use
it.
70% instead of the 90 or 93% alcohol to sterilize our equipment?
Say that again.
Why do we use a 70% alcohol instead of the 90 or 93 to sterilize our equipment? Why do we?
It's a good point to make to people.
All right, so
because the assumption would be more is better. Stronger is better.
The ongoing belief is that it evaporates too fast, like Shroom Digger just said here.
Shroom Digger got it. Yep. Should use that as a question for a giveaway. Shroom, you good on microdoses, buddy?
I know people that know more than me that say they use 90%, and they say it's fine. But 70% is the best. It's universally known to evaporate at the right rate so that it kills the microbes, and it doesn't evaporate too fast. If it evaporates too fast, it doesn't kill enough. If it's like 50%, it's too diluted and it won't kill anything. So 70% seems to be the sweet spot. But I know some people who are successful with the 90%, but I wouldn't.
Cool.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, better just to use the 70 and just let it dry.
Yeah,
because whatever water's left behind was essentially sterilized anyway.
Yeah, I knew it was something with the drying time. I just didn't know why the 70 was better, but the 90 evaporates quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And another
theoretically,
another use for the hydrogen peroxide is, let's say you have a tub that you think is contaminated. with some cobweb mold. Hydrogen peroxide will kill the cobweb mold and leave your culture still intact. So that is one of the few contaminations that you can recover from with hydrogen peroxide. Trichoderma, throw it away. It's a doomed. It's totally doomed.
There's also, I've seen some people, we haven't tested this method yet, but there's been people who take little Tupperware containers and they'll put it over the contamination and it'll stop it from spreading any farther, and you'll be able to get a full flush before it even spreads any farther.
It slows
Nice
it
little
down.
trick.
Slows it down a little bit, but there's no stopping
Okay.
it.
I haven't tried it. I've just seen it and heard it. So yeah, we'll try this out. I'd like to try it out anyway. I guess I have to purposely contaminate a tub somehow.
The problem with that method is that they're only covering the part that they see that's green. Trichoderma, its mycelium looks a lot like the regular mycelium that you're expecting
Right,
to grow.
the
So
toe.
it's far
Yeah.
beyond what you think it is spread to, and it's on the
Mhm.
surface. So you cover it up, you push it into the substrate, and you push it all the way down to the bottom of the tub. Try to isolate it, but then you realize it's already like next day it's already way past that spot. But yeah, I've accidentally did a transfer on Trichoderma thinking it was the real deal, because I was cloning from a store-bought mushroom. But I was like, oh, that mycelium's growing so fast. Wow, it's like growing 3 times as fast as I'm used to. That's why
100%.
it's so much more vigorous than the cultures that we want to grow.
Yeah, you make a great point. It's better just to try something at that
Now I
point.
know what it looks
You've already
like.
put that much energy.
At all stages, because I put it in a petri dish, and I know, and I've done several transfers of that Trichoderma. I know what it looks like in a petri dish, and I know what it looks like at all stages now. So even though I made a mistake, it was a tremendously educational experience. And I also learned that Trichoderma doesn't turn green until it reaches the edges of your plate, just like when your regular cultures reach the edge of the plate and then it starts pinning. It's like, oh, I'm running out of food. It's time to get my spores on the wind. Same thing, exactly the same thing. But with Trichoderma, you'll see little puff balls, or it looks almost like little dust mites or something. But it's little itty bitty tiny puff balls, and then within 12 hours, everything's green. It's nuts.
HB, I've done that before. I've used a piece of Tupperware and put it over the contamination spot. But I think when it's that progressed, you've been probably fanning your tubs by now, So now
Yes,
it's on
sir.
tubs and everywhere else, and you're not seeing it yet. And you really, from my experience, it wasn't worth it. And then it was like
Okay.
from that tub and then to another tub, and I ended up having several tubs that were
Oh
on
no,
this
goodness.
pile. So,
Yeah, the first thing I immediately do is separate my contamination ones from the rest immediately. And then I'll experiment and see what I can do. But so far, I haven't had any be able to produce once they contam. It's almost like it sends a shockwave, like, "Hey, we're dying here."
Oh, Shroom Digger says it's when it sporulates. Yes, when it sporulates, that's when it's turning green. Another
That's
thing
knowledgeable
that
dude.
I covered in my class yesterday is that's one of those times when the still air box has a distinct advantage over a flow hood or a fan filter unit. With a flow hood or a fan filter unit, and you have contamination on your plate, it's blowing the wind over the top of it, and it's already sporulated. You're getting it everywhere in your entire environment. So with a still air box, the whole point is that there's no air moving in that box, and you can actually do a transfer from the safe spot before you let any wind or anything blow over it. And a lot of times you can save cultures by just using agar. A lot of people are scared of using agar. Don't be scared. Just do it. Just intentionally contaminate some. Do it. Just for fun. Learn something from it.
I recommend also using a tub as a still air box, and not like before. I bought one of those ones on Amazon that had the gloves that went in, and it like you blew it up like a tent. It was all clear. What a pain in the ass that was. It was awful. And I got frustrated one night. I pulled my arms out of the thing. I took the whole thing, everything, threw it in the trash. I was like, I'm done. It's so much easier to pull a tub off of the counter and then put your arms up there and do it instead of trying to use that nonsense. And that was like $50 or something. But how many tubs could I have bought for $50? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to get fancy, you can put holes in it, but you can just slide it over the counter and put drums up. I think that's probably better.
$8 to $10, you got yourself a still air box. Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of those things I keep telling people. It's like, don't overspend originally. Don't spend all this money on a new, like, super fancy still air box or a flow hood or a pressure cooker. Learn how to do it without the fancy stuff first. Learn the foundation and build from there. And you're going to lose so much money by doing that. I see so many people, they waste all this money and then they burn out. And I'm like, yeah, I barely spend any money on my hobby just because I'm just doing the basics.
I bought a this is social media for you. When I first was starting, I bought a pressure cooker at Goodwill, and I'm the one that got cooked on Facebook on some of the groups because people are like, "Oh, you're gonna get contam. You're gonna get if it builds the right pressure. Where's the contam coming from?" No, I don't think so. You need to spend what $200 whatever on a 23-quart Presto. Go for it. I wasn't doing that at the time.
Yep.
I have one now, but I didn't start with that. You know, I wanted to dip my toe in first, and not have a big investment. So I mean, if it's a good pressure cooker, maybe you have to invest in a new gasket. But you know, if you don't have the equipment, you can get in cheap. You know, you don't need all the, like Nerdy said, all the new fancy stuff. You know, and that's people, I think, gatekeeping and grow science and crap like that. And that's what drove me out of the cannabis groups. You know, like I used to sell seeds,
But you know what all
on Facebook and stuff. And you know, here comes someone with 3 grows under their belt, and they're saying that you're doing it wrong. And my buddy does an ice bath at the end, and
Dunning-Kruger's
grow science, and I'm like, okay, well, I have all these grows that I've done it and I've documented. And I weigh each grow. You know what I mean? And you can really dial it in, just like mushrooms, like Bob's doing.
Yeah.
You know, same with cannabis if you're using the same genetics. And you know, there's just people that just want to. What did you say earlier?
Dunning-Kruger's.
Yucking your
yum. Fucking yuck your yum. Yeah, people always be yucking your yum, man, because they're like jealous of the happiness that we get from something that they don't like.
Mm-hmm. So. Nerdy's very, very knowledgeable. If you have any questions, reach out to him, and he'll point you in the right direction if you're getting started, you know, or anything like that.
There's a lot I don't know, but I will do my best.
That's all you can do, man, from day to day. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions or have expectations, and always do your best.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll throw in the fifth, since we're already on it. Be skeptical and learn to listen. Appreciate you guys so much. You guys going to wrap up anything else for the end of the show?
I don't think so.
Everybody
have a great show.
We need a fun nerdy tune for that nerdy guest.
I know. I tried to work on it. I didn't have enough time before the show because it was something I literally just thought of. But yeah, we definitely do. But maybe even in a video. We'll see. Yeah, it's very cool.
It made me
appreciate
smile.
you guys playing along with us. Well, I feel like the more we do this, the more I learn too. You know, because mushrooms that I've never seen before. I'm like, wow, this is totally new to me. So it's pretty cool to be able to learn new mushrooms. As we've already done a couple state mushrooms, maybe we'll keep doing all the state mushrooms.
Yeah, right.
So,
right. State mushrooms.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll keep running through them all. All right, guys.
We're gonna have a Garricus Julius next week, right?
We'll see what happens. We'll see. Actually, I don't have one picked out, but we'll see what happens. Appreciate you too, Joe. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Y'all have a good night, man. Remember the 4 agreements and practice being kind to each other. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, everyone.